Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculita.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
We are having a great time here today, and let's head into our game news. And our first story from Turbine is that they have posted Update 27, Patch 1, and supposedly this fixes hirelings.
And a lot more things, too. We will start at the top. The crafting storage. Crafting from the shared bank is once again available. So that is good for all you crafters out there. You don't have to hang on to all your crafting supplies. Just pop them in your bank and it'll pull them from there, which is always a good thing, especially if you do a lot of crafting. Also, the Caneth crafting item destruction essences will no longer be consumed without the benefit when pulled from the shared bank crafting storage. So that is good as well. They also did fix a little issue they were having with the DDO store, where bound to account items were actually becoming bound to character, which could suck, I would think. So I'm glad they got that fixed. And as Pineleaf did allude to, hirelings got a little bit of attention. The Stand Your Ground AI has been improved. And I know firsthand I did play with this because we actually ended up having to do this, which you'll hear about when we talk about what we did. And it is a lot better than what it was. And also disabling a spell on the hotbar of your hireling will now prevent that spell from being used by the hireling automatically as well.
You would think that would have done that already.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of would assume that, but apparently not. So now if you turn that spell off, your hireling will just kind of temporarily forget that he or she has that one. And also the big one.
Does that mean we could do that with grease?
Yes. Anything that that you can turn off in the AI, it will not use at all. So yes.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Your grease woes are over, finally.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh, taking that approach, are you?
Yeah.
See how it is. And also,
sometimes I can't find any references to grease anywhere in their skill bars. And they cast it anyway.
Yeah, and they cast it anyway. Yep. Well, that should fix that problem. So you will have to test that. Because I know you did have some issues with that. Just not too long ago, actually. And then also the big one, I think, for hirelings. The hirelings that are set to aggressive mode will now attack more reliably. And once again, just firsthand by using some hirelings, this does seem to be fixed well. I only had one problem with it, and that's because the hireling was stupid and stood in some lava and died. And then when they got rezzed, they wouldn't attack, but I just put them on passive and then back to auto or aggressive, and then that seemed to fix it. So, so far, so good. But I guess I didn't make a note of this in the release note, but I guess we can talk about a known issue that popped up due to this patch to the hirelings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Pineleaf knows all about this one. If you have a pet, so that would be your druid and your artificer, your pets no longer attack.
How rude.
They decided to go on strike, I guess. So, and I did read in the forums, I think it was Cordovan did mention that they do have a fix. They are internally testing for that. So that will probably be hot fixed here pretty soon, I would think.
I hope so.
Because, yeah, I know I can't remember when we played Wednesday. Did you bring your dog out or not? I don't remember if you did or not.
I did bring out the dog. I don't recall seeing it do anything useful, which is consistent with the patch note, I guess.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Right now, if you do have a pet, your pet is not going to attack. You're going to have to actually physically tell it to attack. Kind of like what you used to have to do with the hirelings when they went brain dead. So basically, your pets are brain dead now. So there you go. A few other things.
Someday we'll have both of them working.
That's right. Someday, Pineleaf.
Someday.
A few other things from the hotfix. The non-VIP players now can consume the Fate Tomes without first having to speak to a Fate Spinner. All lasting potions now persist throughout death, which is always handy. And let's see, some quests. They did do a little update to a few quests in Amaroth. They made some minor graphical changes to the Archons in Amaroth to improve game performance. And the Devils in the Details quest now has an exit waypoint, which is usually good if you don't want to just click and exit. That way you can actually walk out the door. So always good to see exits in dungeons. The Demon Assault quest now also has an exit waypoint. And the Defiler of the Just raid got a lot of fixes. The monsters that spawn in the trap room are now split into 2 groups. And they did add a small delay so they do not spawn at the same time. And that, I do believe, was to try to help with some of the lag that raid is experiencing right now. Teleportation behavior of the Devils has also been changed. So it has a longer cooldown between attempts. And they will not teleport upon spawning. The Pit Fiends and Horned Devils have had their detection range lowered a bit. Tieflings had some of their behaviors adjusted, and some of the monster pathing has been improved. And most of the Defiler of the Just fixes and tweaks they did were, as I said, to try to fix the lag. Because I guess a lot of players are saying right now that raid is pretty much unplayable in the state that it's in. It just is lagging too bad.
Not nice.
Nope, lag is never good. So that's pretty much it for the Release 1 notes. And as I said, they are working on the pet bug. So hopefully we'll get a hot fix for that soonish.
All right, then. Then we'll head on to Lessa, who posted more DDO challenge tutorials. Earlier we saw her go about to Kobold Island, gathering up items, trying to get those machines to stay in operation and all that stuff. And now this time, where'd she go this time?
She has gone a lot of places. I actually forgot to check to see if she's released more of these. And lo and behold, she has. So there is a ton of these now. She is slowly making her way through all of the challenges. So she's got some great tutorials up for Dr. Rushmore's Mansion and the moving target one that is in Rushmore's Mansion, the Cobalt Island Disruptor Challenge. And she is also taking a look at some of the Evening Star challenges as well now. She's got the Sunset Ritual, the Underdark Arena Fight to the Finish, and the Underdark Arena Ring of Fire. So if you're wanting to know how to do the challenges, these should be your go-to guides. Because as I said in the article I posted up on this, I can speak from first-hand experience because I have ran some challenges with Lessa, and she knows what she's doing. She has these things down to a science, and she can tell you what you need to know to get the most amount of crafting items out of there. So go over to her YouTube page, which we have linked. We also linked each individual challenge video as well in the article that's up on DDO Players if you want to look at them that way. Or just head to her YouTube page and check them out. Once again, thanks to Lessa for taking some time out to do these for the DDO community. It's pretty awesome to see somebody take this much time to do challenge tutorials like this.
So her official title then is Challenger of Eberron?
That's what we will call her from now on.
Yes, the Challenger of Eberron.
There you go, Lessa. You're welcome.
All right, let's head into the DDO Chronicle, issue 154.
Community Spotlight, there is a player by the name of something. Don't ask me.
Kezuzu?
Sure, that'll work too. Is looking for your best, quote, no-kill, unquote, runs. So click over and check out the post in the forums to read about the Rose Challenge. And if you want to know what Rose stands for, it is the Repository of Sneaky Endeavors.
It sounds like to me then that in order to succeed in this, you'll probably have to be playing a rogue.
They actually talked about that in the thread, and actually not. You really don't need to be a rogue to do this. There are non-rogue people that are participating in this challenge, and they have been successful.
But do they have somehow have a sneak skill that's through the roof?
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, you would have to have a sneak, or you would have to have somebody, cast something on you. But I mean, a fighter just can't, run through a whole dungeon and get to the end and win, But
but a wizard with an invisibility skill.
Right. Exactly. So
Yeah, all right.
there's plenty of ways around it. So check the thread out there in the Chronicle to read about the Rose Challenge, which is a pretty cool thing. In Fansite News, DDO Cast had their episode 393 up, where they had a review of Update 26 and Update 27. So click over and give that a watch on YouTube or download the podcast audio version.
You said 26 and 27?
Yes, it's wrong in the Chronicle. The Chronicle
that's
says
what I say.
27
What does it say, 27 and 27?
Yeah, it's because I actually listened to that episode yesterday. So
All
yes,
right.
it is 26 and 27. Slight typo in the Chronicle. The Shady Rogues head to the Glade Watch Outpost. So check over.
Shady Rogues head everywhere, if you notice.
They do.
They post daily, so you think that they...
Pretty soon they're going to run out of places to go. Just saying.
Well, I'm still waiting for them to hit the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if they have, if there's a specific way they're doing them, or if it's just randomly.
They're doing them when they're 5 levels over whatever the level of the dungeon is. That's when they do them.
So that's their secret.
That's their secret.
Okay. We just called the Shady Rogues out. Great. And also in the Chronicle, DDO Gamer is crafting weapons from the Temple of Elemental Evil. Click over and check Jeff's post out about that. And let's see, what else do we got? That is about it for the Chronicle this week.
All right, and the screenshot for this week in the Chronicle is that it looks almost like a robot that's down there. A robot next to an arena is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it says Damascus Steel is preparing for the trial of the Archons, and that is the 234th DDO screenshot of the week. My guess is he is an artificer that I'm not sure what kind of armor he's wearing, but my guess is he would be an artificer.
Well, but I thought artificers didn't wear armor.
It's probably glamored, more than likely.
Okay.
You always forget about the mirror glamoring, don't you?
Yeah, I always forget about that. I didn't know if that would work in any case for an... Oh, yes, you said artificer, not...
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking Warforged for some reason.
No.
Okay, artificer, okay.
Though he might be a Warforged, because I'm pretty sure you can... Well, I don't know if you can glamour something and put it on a Warforged or not. I don't have a Warforged, so I don't know.
Yeah, and my Warforged is pretty low level, so... And I don't play that class all that often.
Right.
All right, so let's head into the store sales where you can buy things, maybe like a Mirror of Glamoring.
Well, not on sale, but I'm sure Turbine
okay.
would love you to buy one anyway. 20% off this week. Astral Shard, the Guild Renown Elixir, and you can get 50% off. The Guild Charter and the Guild Airship Beacon. Free sample of the week through the 20th is your Bracelet of Friends. Coupon code for that is BCFFS. That is BCFFS. 1 per account, as always.
Let's see. Bracelet of Friends.
Don't even try to come up with any logic for the code. Don't even.
Okay. Then let's head into the site news. And we have our own screenshot of the week, and this is a really weird one.
It is a weird one. It is from Brian, and he says, "It seems like I was about to get licked like a lollipop. This is my character Blight Tongue in the quest Acute Delirium. I'm flying on an airship made of beds and bookcases, about to take on
beds and bookcases?
That beholder." That's in that quest, and I have read and I have heard people talk about that quest. Apparently, you have an airship that is made of beds and bookcases. Don't know why. I have no idea. It's in a Zoriat quest line, so that should explain everything. Why it would be beds and bookcases, anything to do with Zoriat, it's going to be crazy, and there's going to be mind players and beholders involved. That's all you need to know, finally.
All right, I think that's enough. So let's go back in time, because that's what Musk does, in flipping the hourglass and looking at raids as they were and how they are now. And apparently, he doesn't like how they are now too much.
No, it doesn't seem that way. He is talking about how the game used to be pre-update 14 for the end game, where you would have to wait for your raid timer. So you would have to wait 3 days before you could go back into a raid. So you could, grind out for your gear in whatever, particular raid you were trying to get gear in. Well, now you can go to the Turbine store and get the bypass 3-day raid timer. And he does say, that seems awesome, right? At first, it did, sure. Everyone was running raids, gearing up, having fun, raiding all day. After a while, people started running a full 20 completions in a single day.
Okay.
So yeah, he's just kind of lamenting on, how it used to be that, you couldn't just run to the DDO store and buy that and bypass that timer, and you actually had to wait.
Oh, and you can even bypass a timer on the newest, greatest, and latest raids?
Yes, that bypass timer will work for any raid timer.
Okay, because I know that I think it's in Lotro, they lighten it up on older material, but usually they have of course they're not as much into timers these days as they used to be, so I guess it sort of makes it moot.
Yeah, and then Musk also does say that, he gets that Turbine does need to make money to keep the game going, and that he understands, but he just thinks that there's other ways that they can do that, and kind of the end game should be off limits. So that's what Musk has to say about it. So if you have any comments on that, you can leave a comment on the either that particular post on the website. It's called Flipping the Hourglass, or you can leave them on the post for this podcast when it gets posted up, and let us and Musk know what you think about the timer.
Apparently Musk must have been busy, because he also talks about level 30 and the implications of the upcoming cap increase.
Yes, he has been busy. We got 2 articles from him this week, and that's great because he kind of went MIA for a while. I was wondering what happened to him, and then all of a sudden he's back with 2 articles in a week. It's awesome. It does say in the past, when the character level cap increased, it did always coincide with an expansion. Update 14 DDO's first expansion, they increased the level cap to 25, and that introduced the epic levels. And in 19, the level cap increased again to 28, and that means we have the level 30 level cap increase coming up soon, supposedly by the end of the year, they have stated. And he's just kind of wondering, does that mean we might have an expansion coming to coincide with that, as it's always been?
Well, my one comment on that is it's not a guarantee, and the reason why I am saying that is because in Turbine's other major game, in Lotro, there was a level cap raise. The most recent one was in that game where it was raised from 95 to 100, and that was not with an expansion. While all previous level cap increases were with an expansion, that one was not.
So there is Turbine precedent, is what you're saying.
There is Turbine precedence.
It'll be interesting to see. And, this got me thinking, okay, if there would be an expansion, where would we go or what would we do? I'm just trying to think, and I can't really think of anything that screams out for a full expansion.
Ooh.
Everything.
How about,
okay.
Hey, we have this precedent for being in Greyhawk now.
Mm-hmm.
So what about an entire expansion for Greyhawk?
I didn't think about that, but that would be interesting.
At least now we have someplace to put this Temple of Elemental Evil.
Besides in the strange wherever they don't know where it's at, it's floating around in the middle of space now.
Right.
Gotcha.
And they could even build Hamlet.
Oh, Hamlet. I have fond memories of Hamlet.
Yes. And we could go into the moat house.
Mm-hmm.
See all this wonderful stuff. See, that's it. The next expansion, Moat House.
Moat
See,
House.
Temple of Elemental Evil was the small thing. The full expansion is the Moat House.
Journey to the Moat House. Okay. You here first, folks. Musk does say that regardless of if we get an expansion or not, he is excited to see the level cap increase, and I think we can all speak when we say we agree with him and say that is cool to see it expanding. But expansion, would be interesting to see what they do.
All right, then let's head into the news beyond DDO. And first off, there is a new issue of Dragon Plus ready for download, and I keep on forgetting about this one.
Yeah, it seems like every time we talk about this, you say, "Oh, I always forget that I have this. I need to go get this new magazine that came out."
Yes.
So yes, finally, there is a new issue of Dragon Plus waiting for you. So you should fire up your phone and do that.
Or more likely, my iPad.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I figured you had it on your phone, but I figured wrong. So
Well, the phone, you could figure that my phone is 3G time frame.
Oh, good grief. I can see why you put it on your iPad, sir. Say no more. Yeah, this issue is all about the Rage of Demons, which makes sense since that is the new storyline that we all know is happening in 5e. And they cover everything pretty much you need to know about Rage of Demons, how to start playing it. And then they also have a little interview with R.A. Salvatore about Dritz and his involvement in the upcoming Rage of Demons storyline. And then we get to hear a little bit about Sword Coast Legends. They have a little interview with the team behind that. And then they also talk about some of their plans for their Extra Life that they'll be running this year, like they did last year. So go ahead and check that out. All of that can be found for free in the Dragon Plus. You can get that on both iOS or Android.
And also with things, if you wish a little extra stuff, Humble Bundle, this week's book deal is with Dungeons & Dragons Comics Bundle. So if you are interested in Dungeons & Dragons comics, you could go over to Humble Bundle, and of course, what you get will depend on whether or not your donation meets certain thresholds, of course, because you have the stuff that you could get for a small donation with $10 or more. There are more, and of course, you unlock even more if you go to $12 or more.
Yes, that pretty much explains how the Humble Bundle works. And that is really hard to say if you say it fast.
Yes, it is not something you can say 10 times fast.
No, I challenge anybody to do that. As Plyleaf said, you can get $217 worth of Dungeons & Dragons comics through this. Basically, the brunt of them are Dritz and some of the older Forgotten Realms classic. But as Pineleaf said, if you do anything less than $10, you can get 4 comics. And then if you do 10, actually it's $10.08 to be precise.
That's right. You have to be,
I
think a certain percentage or something like that.
Yeah, you will unlock 4 more. And then if you do $12, you can just get the whole full bundle. And that unlocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like 6 more. And those are some more of the Dritz ones. And they do, typically what happens with the Humble Bundles is before it's over, and this one has, as of this recording, has 8 days left, they do tend to add more comics to it. So you might get, and that's if you do the, as of this recording, $10.08 is what the average price has been. So if you pay more than that, you will unlock that tier, and you will get any extras that get added on before it's over in 8 days.
All right.
And these, to answer, somebody did ask me, I think it was on Twitter, what format these are in. These do come in CBZ, PDF, or EPUB, so that should pretty much cover any way you want to read them, be it on your iPad, on your phone, on your e-reader, or on your computer.
Now, CBZ, that's a comic format, or what?
Yes, that's the standard comic book format for most comic reader apps. The comic books need to be in the CBZ format.
All right. Very well, then. Then let's head into what we did in DDO this weekend. What have you been up to?
I had a fairly busy weekend game, actually. My Warlock reached level 8 and also hit 300 favor. I ran... Yeah, that's right. I had 2 little mini milestones on the Warlock this week. I ran in the harbor, Higher Stone Inlet. And of course I did that on Elite, because that is my challenge that I'm trying to do with the Warlock. Trying to see how many of these I can run on Elite until I finally get to the point where it's just too hard for me. And I gotta look at my gear that I have or something, or maybe it was just a really good roll. I didn't actually look to see what the roll was. But in the Irestone Inlet, one of the witch doctors one-shotted me. I don't know what he cast on me or what he did, but all I know is he did a one-shot and I was dead.
Ouch.
So that was kind of crazy. So I'm kind of thinking I might have to start looking at gear because to be honest, I haven't been paying that much attention to my.
You've been going on around in Elite and haven't been thinking about gear?
Yeah, it's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is really the only time that I've noticed it was a problem. But of course, I'm getting into, kind of the middle levels now to where it's actually starting to get harder. So, yeah, I think it's time to start planning out some gear and seeing what's going on with that, because being one-shotted is not much fun.
Yeah.
Well, then after that, I decided, let's go into Three Barrel Cove. Why not? So I did guard duty.
You want a list?
Hey, I kind of like Three Barrel Cove.
Yeah.
I kind of like it out there. I did guard duty on Elite, of course, and then I started the Gnarl's Tomb quest chain. Only did the first one, the Troglodytes Git, and of course that was on Elite as well. Didn't really have any problems. I'm finding the major problem I'm having is casters. They're doing a lot of damage to me, so I really, really think I need to look at gear and start planning some stuff out, because I'm finding casters. Luckily, I only got one shot at that one time, but casters are putting a hurt on me. So I need to look at some magic resistance, I think. I should have probably planned this character out a little more, huh?
Yeah, maybe there's a character planner somewhere.
Hey, that's probably what I should have done. That would have been the smart thing, right? And then my level 14 rogue still out in the orchard. I attempted, note the keyword attempted, the Fleshmaker's Laboratory. I did not have any problems in that quest. Got to the very end, and I found out that I can't do it by myself, even with hirelings.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, because there is six runes that you have to hit, but you have to hit them within 10 seconds of each other.
Ouch.
Yeah, so I tried, I found out I could get them. I could get two of them. They were close enough. And then I had my hireling try to get the other two, but then I'm like, yeah, I can't get those other ones. So I'm going to have to look in the LFG to see if I can pug it. I'm kind of hoping people are still running that. Maybe people that are doing TRs or whatever are kind of in those levels and they're running that quest, because I don't know how many people are still running the orchard. So I guess I'm going to be using the Kenneth LFG and see if I can get a group to finish that off. And I kind of cheated and looked on the wiki, and it seems like the other quests that are out there are about the same. You really have to have a actual party to finish them. So my questing days in the orchard are probably numbered until I can find a group. Of course, I could still go and finish out the rares and the explorer and slayers and all that, which I'll do. But questing, finding out, it's getting a little tough.
All right.
And that is what I did by myself. Of course, I did do something with you on Wednesday, but we'll let you talk about that. So what did we do this week, Piney?
All right. This week, we went out back into Giant Hold. And, all right. Okay, we went out into Giant Hold. We went into this prison.
Oh, that's right. We did Prison of the Plains, didn't we?
Yeah, it's the Prison of the Plains, and that was a regular madhouse.
Yeah, and that was...
And that one, we had some challenges in order to getting our hirelings to help us through that one, if I recall correctly, because we wanted to both be in a room in order to do a challenge, because there's a point to it where someone has to activate something, and then as soon as that's activated, then generally you're attacked. There's one question and answer session, but generally something gets summoned up and they attack you. And the first time we tried that, Drac was activating it outside. I was inside, And no, soloing that mess was not easy.
Oh, poor Pine Leaf. Pine Leaf died.
Yeah, I know. What else is new?
I didn't say that. I just said that he died. And
Right.
I just wanted to be pointed out that was the only death that we had, is Pine Leaf managed to get himself killed.
If I remember correctly, the only one that you had to solo was the
No.
one for the lawful neutrals.
No, I fought one too.
You
I did have that one that I could only do because I was lawful neutral, and you had to be a lawful character to actually do it. And then I
Right.
did do another room to where I fought, and it was a freeze that I fought.
Oh, okay. I guess I forgot about that one.
And I survived that, so I didn't die, but you died. But that's okay. It's all right. So then we decided to, since the update had came out that day, we decided to test out, well, let's see if the stand your ground for the hirelings actually works right now. So I planted the hireling outside and had him use the rune to, activate the quest where the monsters or whatever spawned. And then that way Pine Leaf and I could both be in the room. And that worked then.
Yay!
It was much easier with two people in the room. And
I'll agree with that.
Pine Leaf got his revenge. We went back into the one that killed him, and we beat up on I can't remember which one that was. I don't even remember what we were fighting in there. It was nasty, though, so I can see why you died, because it was nasty.
It was nasty. I'm trying to think if that was the Ifrit or if that was... No, the Ifrit was later.
Yeah, I can't remember which.
I can't remember which one it was. But
it was nasty.
Most of the ones in there were nasty in some way or the other.
That was a pretty fun quest once we actually figured out how to do it.
It took us forever to figure out how to
figure out what we were
start
supposed to
activating
do.
those things.
And then after we figured out, okay, you find one of the orbs in the very bottom, and then you can put them in and activate it, and then each room you do, you get 2 orbs. So, and then I think we needed 6 to actually activate the end fight. And it's like, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
now, one of the things that helped things take a long time was it was a while before I figured out that the thing spiraled down. I had thought it just circled on itself as opposed to spiraling down.
Right. Yep.
So therefore, I didn't think about going all the way around in order to get down to the bottom.
You were just directionally challenged, I think, most of the time.
And that's different from...
Yeah, poor Pine Leaf.
Let's go to my warlock, my permadeath warlock, which was going through levels 3 and 4. I went to the Carulian Hills, where I did the 2 quests over there, where there's smoke and the captives. And then in the harbor, I did refugee toll and an explosive situation. And then I went to the waterworks, where I ran Clan Ashtooth, rescuing Arlos, then Clan Tunnel Worm, and then Ven's Fate. So I went through all that series. And during Clan Ashtooth is when I gained the XP for level 4, but I didn't actually do the level up until after I rescued Arlos and got out. Then I did that. Then I went to level 4, went back, and it was appropriate since Ven's Trail is a level 4 quest, while Cobblestone was a level 3 quest. Then I went back into town and did the Sharn Syndicate in the first 2 parts of the Sharn Syndicate, Stand Your Ground and Dirty Laundry. And I decided that I wanted to hold off before doing the Fresco, because I wanted to do the Fresco around the same time that I did the one where you get it back. So I wanted to do those pretty close together, and I didn't think I had time to do them both. So therefore, I just did Stand Your Ground and Dirty Laundry. But then I noticed that I was really close to getting another action point. So I decided to run Missing in Action. Then I went back into the harbor, where I ran the Miller's Debt and Bringing the Light. And Bringing the Light, I did do Bringing the Light last week, so that was a bit of a repeat. But I just needed a tiniest little bit of XP in order to do it. So I wanted to do something quick, and if there was an XP penalty for doing it too soon after something else, I didn't care, because I knew that no matter what, I could just sneeze and I'd get enough XP. So that's what I did. And in fact, I actually got it when I was in there. I think the second guard I killed, gave me Human Killer 2.
No.
Gave me the
Yeah,
Uber
and your
Exterminator.
Monster Manual? Yeah.
Yeah, from the Monster Manual. And that's what actually levels me up. So I didn't even need to finish the quest. All I had to do was kill
nice.
2 more cultists, and so I finished that up. And that is my week. So if you'd like to help support DDO players, you go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. And there you'll find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even to be able to guest host with us. And where are we at relative to our next DDO goal?
We are about $20 away from a 1-year VIP code giveaway.
All right, then let's head into our featured comment. And DDO Central left a comment on flipping the hourglass, and he said, "We will see how the upcoming Reaper mode changes the game, probably in 2016. Gameplay might start to resemble the early days of DDO again." What is Reaper mode?
I figured you were going to ask that because we haven't talked about it yet. There is, I will have to dig out the thread in the forum. People have been talking about how, some people are finding that the game is too easy. Even on Epic Elite, people are saying the game is too easy. So they want a harder difficulty setting. And one of the devs, I can't remember, it might even have been Severlin, who's the executive producer. It might have been him that said it, kind of nonchalantly hinted at maybe they might be working on like a very hard difficulty setting, and everybody started calling that Reaper mode. So basically it's like an uber hardcore mode of play. So people on the forums have been speculating on, well, what would this Reaper mode entail? How hard would it be? Yada, yada, yada. And basically people are hoping it will be like what the game used to be when a lot of people said the game was hard. And then that's a very suggestive thing because I know you and I think I can speak for both of us when we're saying I kind of like where the difficulty level's at because I think a lot of this stuff is hard. But yet something I think is hard, somebody else thinks is a cakewalk. So, and I don't know how you find a happy balance for that. That's why I guess I'm not a game designer. Because I wouldn't want to try to balance that out to where you're pleasing everybody.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's what the Reaper mode is. It's just so it will basically be harder than what Epic Elite is. Which right now, Epic Elite is the hardest difficulty setting you can run stuff at. This will be harder than that.
All right. I have a feeling that it'll be a while before I can.
Yeah, gonna say it's nothing we'll have to worry about for a long time. So
it'll be a while before I even worry about regular Epic.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I know, there's a lot of players that have been playing, for a long time, really want to see something like this. So, and I think it's good that, the designers and the developers are looking, to kind of please that segment of the game player base, which, I'm all for if, as long as it's something you don't have to do and it won't affect my gameplay in any way. I mean, let them have their game mode and play it that way. And that's awesome to me. It's nothing that I want to play right now. Maybe at some point, when I'm ready, I'll try it if and it ever comes out. But, right now I kind of like the difficulty level. So as long as it doesn't affect me, I'm all for it.
Right. Yeah, because I certainly am not going to be doing that anytime soon.
Yeah. And, sure. And I couldn't see them actually doing this and, making it be a forced thing. I'm pretty sure it will be optional, like, changing difficulty level settings are now.
All right. There'll probably be some rules related to it in it. Like, for example, step 1, no hirelings.
Very well might be. It might be that, yeah, you are totally in this quest solo. And I know a lot of people on the forums have suggested, if you're in this, quote unquote Reaper mode, that you should, if you die, you should incur the XP penalty like you used to. So before you would start gaining XP again, you would have to pay off that XP that you owe.
Oh, you mean that XP penalty?
Yes. Yes. So, let's say, for example, you die. Well, that costs you 500 experience. So before you can start getting experience, you have to earn 501 experience because you have to pay 500 to erase your debt, and then you can start gaining experience again. Which some people are upset that's out of the game now. Then again, I'm not. It doesn't bother me. It's not there. I mean, if it would be there, okay, that's just how the gameplay is. I played other games that have been like that, and it's not like I hate it. I think it's kind of a silly mechanic to do personally, but I know a lot of games do it. That's also been suggested for this, but I will see if I can find the thread that this is all in. There's like one thread people are talking about this, and there's some like crazy ideas people are throwing around for this.
All right, then we'll find out more about this in the future and see what happens. But if you would like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @Players Ally, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta @Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 3 new shows every single week. On Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. You join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to blast those bugbears.